Alright, let's hit the numbers, fast. It's 2025 and scientists are still digging through the ruins of the great financial crisis. Did we move on? Nope, not even close. Let's talk economies first. Advanced countries, think US, UK, Europe, are still 2 to 4% behind their pre-crisis GDP trends. That's not a blip, that's a lost decade and a half. Unemployment? Still up. US and Europe have long-term rates 0.5 to 1% higher than before 2008. Wages? If you're working in the US or UK, your real income is 5 to 8% lower than it would have been without the crash. That's a pay cut every single year thanks to the GFC. But it's not just numbers. Mental health took a hit too, a 12% jump in depression and anxiety in the hardest hit populations, and it's still showing up in studies today. And trust? Forget about it. Trust in banks and governments has dropped 15 to 20% and never bounced back in the West. Inequality? Let's get real. The top 10% in the US now own a whopping 70% of all wealth. In 2007, it was 62%. That gap didn't shrink, it exploded. Millennials are especially feeling it. Home ownership among them is 8% lower than Gen X at the same age, and experts say the GFC is a huge reason why. Did new rules help? Kind of. Post-crisis banking regulations Basel III Dodd-Frank did make the system safer. Over 60% of economists agree on that. But risk didn't vanish, it just moved. Shadow banking or non-bank finance is now 14% of global financial assets, up 25% since 2010. Academic heavy hitters are all over this. 80 studies reviewed in Nature 2024 confirm lasting damage to youth employment, mental health, and the ability to move up in society. One big takeaway? Countries with more inequality before the crash got hit harder and stayed down longer. Zooming out, developing economies got hammered. Global trade plunged 10% in 2009. Some emerging markets, think Greece, Argentina, still haven't made it back to their 2007 output, even now. Meanwhile, public debt in advanced economies shot from 70 to 120% of GDP over 15 years. That's a mountain of IOUs, and it limits what governments can do in a crisis. So, are the scars still there? Absolutely. Economists call it scarring job markets, productivity, and opportunity all marked, maybe into the 2030s. The only bright spot? People got more financially literate, up 9% in affected countries. But also, a lot more cautious when it comes to money. And that's where we stand. The GFC wasn't just a bad year, it was a detour for an entire generation. The assembly of public facts can be imperfect. This is not an advice. 60 Sec University Class 9 or 139 offered by Lapreuve.com, source of Silphium garum, modernist remake of ancient Roman sauce. Latest scientific info, distrust, revise, subscribe.